I'm a Christian, a conservative, and a Republican in that order, and I'm a card-carrying member of the NRA. To Wayne LaPierre, to Governor Abbott, the distinguished members of Congress, to all my fellow Americans who've come from near and far, it is great to be back at the 147th annual meeting of the National Rifle Association. Thank you all. And I'm especially proud to be here with a good friend of mine, a great champion of our most cherished liberties, and a man I can tell you who can't wait to get out here, the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump. You know, last year, President Trump spoke to this very gathering, the first president to do so in 34 years. And he told you then, in his words, that you have a true friend in the White House. And I'm here today as his vice president to tell you that you have two friends in the White House. President Donald Trump and I both stand without apology for the Second Amendment, and in this administration, the right of the people to keep and bear arms will not be infringed. You know, that right is truly one of our first and most important freedoms. Our founders won our independence with the power of their ideas and their muskets. Our pioneers won the West and expanded the frontiers of freedom with their daring, their courage, and their Springfields, Winchesters, and Colts. From generation to generation, our forebears have fought our nation's wars and defended our way of life with the skills they learned on the rifle range, or in a dove field, or in a deer stand, or at the knee of a father or grandfather back home. And in our own day, there is no greater champion of America's tradition of responsible gun ownership than you, the men and women of the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association is an organization forged in freedom. For nearly 150 years, the NRA has valiantly defended the Constitution and all our God-given liberties. In its early years, the NRA helped train our fellow citizens in gun safety and marksmanship, a tradition that continues even as this organization has gone on to become one of the principal defenders of our Second Amendment rights. Today, more than 5 million Americans are proud members of the NRA. And the work you do is essential to preserving our freedoms at every level of the American government. So give yourselves a round of applause for all you do for the ideals we cherish. And President Trump and I came here today mostly just to say thanks. Thank you for all you do to defend liberty. And thank you for electing a president and a Congress that are making America great again. Because of your support on Election Day and every day since, you can only describe this administration one way. It's been 15 months of promises made and promises kept, and we're just getting started. I mean, think about it. President Trump promised to rebuild our military and restore the arsenal of democracy. And just over 1 month ago, President Trump signed into law the largest investment in our national defense since the days of Ronald Reagan. Our president promised to enforce our laws and secure our borders. We've taken on sanctuary cities. We're fighting to end catch and release and close all the dangerous immigration loopholes in our laws. The President signed into law the biggest funding increase for border security in nearly a decade, and even ordered the National Guard to the southern border. Under this President's leadership, we've nearly doubled the arrests of vicious gang members in MS-13. And thanks to the leadership of President Trump, Congress approved funding for the first 100 miles of a border wall. And I'll make you a promise. When it comes to that big border wall, we're going to build it all. This President has also stood for all the God-given liberties enshrined in our Constitution. And I have to tell you, I couldn't be more proud to serve alongside a President who stands without apology for the sanctity of human life. To protect all our unalienable rights, President Trump promised to appoint strong conservatives to the federal courts at every level. And we've been busy at it. We actually, in the last year, set a record for the most Court of Appeals judges confirmed in a single year in American history, and that doesn't even count Justice Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court of the United States. And when it comes to security here at home, our President and I promise to stand with those who stand on the thin blue line of law enforcement, and so we have. As we all know, the men and women of law enforcement risk their lives every day to serve and protect our families, our neighbors, and our communities. And that's why, under President Donald Trump's leadership, we've made new resources available to law enforcement at every level. And we will continue to give all the heroes of law enforcement the training, tools, and the respect that they deserve as they protect our families in communities across this nation. You know, the American people will always remember the heroes of the Dallas Police Department, who fell in the line of duty nearly 2 years ago in that attack that claimed the lives of 5 officers and left 9 others injured. Sadly, just last week, another brutal attack of violence struck this city, leaving 1 Dallas police officer dead and injuring another officer and a security guard. I know I speak for everyone here when I say that we are praying for the family of Officer Rogelio Santander and for the swift recovery of Scott Painter and Officer Crystal Almeida. They are heroes, and they are on our hearts and in our prayers.